Another trend that I'm loving that it could be dated later because it kind of depends on how you do it is wallpaper. So in a powdered bathroom or something like that, like take a risk, do something that I'd lean more towards the traditional side on wallpaper, or maybe like something really textural. And then that is likely to age well in your house.
Hey everyone, you're now listening to Cup of Queens with Paige and Saray, and today we're speaking with Katie Sullivan, a home enthusiast and teacher of all things living luxury.
Katie talks with us how her first home DIY project ignited her passion for design and led her down the path to creating her own design agency. She also talks about new sustainable trends, holiday decor ideas, and gift guide ideas for the homebody in your life.
So grab your cup and enjoy.
Hi, can you hear me?
Hello, we can.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
We're so excited to talk with you.
So excited. And you're so clean right now. I love it.
My what?
Space. It's just so clean. It's clean and modern.
That's because it's under construction. I'm literally sitting in a room under construction. I mean, the walls are going to be white, but it's my bedroom. My office is on the main floor, and my 3 kids are down there.
So you're like,
and I have glass doors. Yes. So now I'm in my bedroom that is literally under construction. So it is very clean.
Like, we're gonna make shift. We're just gonna make this work. It's fine.
Right. Yeah. I have a folding desk.
improvisation is key.
Literally.
And it's not like you don't know what you're doing, because we've stalked your Instagram and you know how to make space look good. So this little, like, what you're downplaying here is exactly that. It's a downplay. You know how to make it look good.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this bedroom to be done. And this is the one nice corner. I have the art hung up. So
I love it. I love it.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, tell us about yourself. We're so excited. Like Saray said, we were stalking your Instagram and we're like, okay, this girl is awesome. We have to meet her. So
thank you. Yeah. So I'm Katie Sullivan. I guess I'm the owner of Pretty Domesticated, or founder, whatever you want to call it. So Pretty Domesticated is a home and lifestyle brand, if you will. And then something that I don't know if a lot of people know, and something that I will be sharing more of in the coming future, is I do take design clients on the side. So it's also a design firm. But my background is not in design. Well, it has been for a while now, but originally, I actually have a journalism and marketing background.
Oh my God.
Just the way life kind of happens. When we bought our first house, I fell in love with design, and then it kind of went from there.
That is so cool. And so how long ago was it that you bought your first house? Like, how long was it that initial spark of this passion?
Yeah, so it was over 8 years ago that we bought the house. And it was this house, but I was pregnant with our first child, and we had probably been looking for a house for about 2 years at that point. We had wanted an older house and we couldn't find one. But then when I was pregnant, we were living in a condo that actually didn't have an extra bedroom. We had like an open air office. And so the crunch time was kind of on. So yes, we closed on this house a week, I think, before on our like second anniversary, I think a week before I had my daughter.
Talk about time crunch.
Yeah.
So it's been and then I slowly kind of got into this. I loved the build process of building the house, like designing. So I kind of got into it a little bit then, but my husband had always told me he was handy, but we didn't own our condo. We rented it. So it was all just in theory that he was handy. But it turns out he is especially handy. And so back then, still Pinterest and stuff, but he could actually create my ideas. So we kind of got our start by doing a lot of DIY, because it was kind of what we did for our date night. Not so much now. I'm pretty sure he'd prefer not to do that on a date night, but 8 years ago, that was kind of what we did. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So cool. Okay. So you have to share with us, like, what are these crazy DIYs that you have attempted for your date nights?
Yeah.
Well, we used to bring our oldest, well, all of our kids know their way around a hardware store, to be honest. But so what have we done? We are our best project, the project we probably do the best at together is shiplapping ceilings.
Oh my gosh,
Cool.
ceilings.
That's super pretty. I love that look.
Yeah. Yeah. So we can shiplap ceilings pretty well. We installed a thin brick wall. That one it was really easy. It had a little bit of a learning curve. Our glue, the adhesive we used was, I guess, it was construction grade adhesive, but it took a while to set up. So I would literally, while my baby napped and like while the TV was on, like hold up bricks and and like wait for them. I mean, it turned out great. It's still one of my favorite features on the main floor. But yeah, we did a thin brick wall. And then, yeah, what else? We've done a lot of trim work, tons of trim work. Yeah.
So what's your favorite style then? Like, has it, since you started 8 years ago, do you think it's evolved, or do you kind of have a theme that you really like?
Yeah, I think it's evolved. So this house still is kind of a mishmash of kind of my journey, which I actually like in a house. So this house is probably a little more coastal, if you will, than like what I'm currently designing. I would say my style is warm transitional. So it's definitely a mixture of modern and traditional. You'll see a lot of those traditional architectural accents, but I like to kind of mix maybe traditional lighting with like straight lines, or we have a very modern fireplace in our sunroom, which otherwise is very traditional. So I kind of like to have like something a little bit unexpected in every space, but I'd say it probably leans more towards traditional than the modern, but I do bring the clean lines and modern into most of them. And then like I've been having a lot of fun with lighting lately, where maybe playing with like very modern lighting in an otherwise traditional space.
Mm-hmm.
That's so
yeah.
fun. You love lighting.
Yeah.
I love
that's
lighting. That's like,
yeah.
I'm a sucker for a good light. And really, the one thing that I would love your advice on, because I'm no interior designer, I am a trend follower, which is not a good thing to do, because you decorate your house 4 years ago and then 4 years flies by and you're like, I hate it. I hate everything.
Yeah. You don't want that.
You don't want that. And that's exactly what I did.
That's
so
okay.
I'm curious to hear what you see coming up for trends, and also what ones you feel like are ones that are going to be timeless and that people can really stick with.
Yeah. So something that I would say is a trend, but also very much in tune with what my style is and what I'd recommend for people, is using natural materials, more sustainability. So even myself, I'm looking for furniture. It might be more of an investment piece, but it's more like what our parents had and grandparents had, where it is a solid wood furniture piece and you love it. And then if it gets a little nick, you can sand it down and refinish it. And then they are those more traditional pieces. So then you can kind of mix in, like we were talking about, more the modern lighting or things that are easier to change. And then also, if you're building a new home, like the natural materials, so things like slate, limestone, marble, we're seeing a lot of like earthy, warm colors, and then those lived-in textures. I think before there was a lot of like caning and stuff, and there still is. I have caning in my own house, but now it's a little bit more woven textures, a little subtler. And then a little bit of a return to tradition. So then another trend that I'm loving, that it could be dated later, because it kind of depends on how you do it, is wallpaper. But like in a powder, yeah. So in a powdered bathroom or something like that, like take a risk, do something that I'd lean more towards the traditional side on wallpaper, or maybe like something really textural. And then that is likely to age well in your house.
Yeah. Do you think, I like that you just said take a risk, because I literally can envision multiple powder rooms that they're using like crazy, like green wallpaper with lions on it or something like that. You're like, that is so weird, but sometimes I feel like when you go that weird, it almost never goes out of style.
Yeah.
Is that a thing, or is that something I should not take advice on?
I don't know if I personally would put lime.
Right.
Maybe more like a moody floral, but no, I think that at the end of the day, it's more about if you love it.
Mhm.
With that said, strong statements and like when you do take on a risk like that, I wouldn't do it in a large scale space. I'd stick more with neutrals and classic pieces in like your kitchen, your family room. I mean, I love a good colored kitchen, but I mean, like, I probably wouldn't do like a bold, very appeals to like one person type of thing. One, for resale, and then two, because if you see it every day in a large space, eventually you're probably going to hate it. But
Yep.
something super dramatic, but in a powder room, like, that's where the drama is meant to be. So you probably won't get sick of it in a powder room, but you might get sick of it like in a family room.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Every time I feel like I go on the Parade of Homes, they always have a really fun powder room. Like there's always
Yeah.
some really unique wallpaper, and I'm like, okay, one of
Yeah.
these days or
Yep.
years, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
So even like speaking of that, because I know you talked about your home office in the beginning, what
Yeah.
is your favorite way to decorate a home office or even to organize that for people who work?
Yeah. Yeah. So home office, well, one, I would say storage. I am a huge fan of closed storage, whether it's your office, kitchen, mudroom, anywhere. But yes, that includes your office. So my own office is a mixture of like open shelves at the top, bookcases, and then the bottom is like filing cabinets and drawers. Mine is probably a little bit on the smaller side since it was, pre-COVID and pre the working at home. And before I knew, when we built, I didn't know I'd be doing this. So we actually added that in later. But I would say that when you're designing an office, it kind of depends on what field you're into. So for me, being in a creative field, I want to be inspired by my space. And then I also need it to function. So offices can be tricky because you need to have like kind of those maybe not so pretty things like your printer and things like that. So that's why I would say like really think about smart storage and what you need. And then the other thing is if you need to think about how you like to work. So my office is painted a moody color, but I have good light. And that works for me. But if you're somebody who really needs like a bright space and feeling energized, then you're probably not going to want to do a moody office. It might look great in a picture, but you're not going to be inspired to be in there or doing your best work there. So then I'd recommend going a different direction for that. But offices can be pretty simple. You can just go with like maybe a statement art piece, and then storage. And then if you don't have a built-in and you're working for furniture, like there's so many great, you can use a dresser as office storage and then style a nice little vignette on it. Or, even just like a cabinet and then repurpose it. So for organizing, the Container Store has like these white portfolio boxes that have like little labels. I use those, and then it's not like visual clutter.
Yeah. That's a great.
Those are great.
Yeah.
I'm so curious, where do you love to find your pieces? Whether it's art, accessories, furniture, where are some of those areas that you have found like your favorite pieces?
So honestly, at this point, I buy most of my stuff through the trade. So I'm buying it through my own company. But I would say what I love to do is find like handcrafted type of stuff. Those are my favorite things. Even like we've been talking a lot about lighting. There's some really great vendors local and throughout the US or even, all over the world that make beautiful like handcrafted things still. I just sourced this beautiful lantern. I think it was, I can't remember where it was made, but it's a beautiful light fixture and it's still made, by hand. And so I love those things that kind of have a story to them.
Mhm.
And then now being in the industry and learning so much through the industry, I have more access to that than I did before. And so that's something that I kind of would love bringing back to Fargo too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That would be a dangerous place for me to have access to.
It literally would, yeah. So are you guys from Fargo then? Have you always lived here or did you move and
Yeah.
Okay.
So my husband is from Fargo. He's from North Fargo. I'm from Fargo too, kind of. Well, for the most part, I am. I've lived between here and Minneapolis for my whole life. I was born in Minneapolis, but my family, my dad got a job here and I moved here when I was in third grade.
Sure.
And then I left in college and went back to Minneapolis. And then I met my husband in Minneapolis. He just so happened to be from Fargo. And then we moved back. And the rest is history. So then I, lived here. Geez, that was probably already 12 or 13 years ago that we've been back here now.
Okay.
I feel
Cool.
like that's such a Fargo story. Like
literally
so
is.
many people do that same thing where they leave, but they meet somebody from Fargo and like that.
Yeah.
brings them
Yeah.
Back.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
so funny.
But,
So,
he's from North Fargo and I'm from South Fargo. So we have that
a
whole thing
little
too.
rivalry.
Yeah.
And now we live in West Fargo.
You got to get all areas.
We got to get all over it. Yeah.
That is so funny. Well, speaking of family, the holidays are coming up, and you have posted so many cool ways to decorate for the holidays. But I'd love for our listeners who maybe haven't checked out your Instagram yet to hear different ways that you like to get creative for the holiday season.
Yeah. So for the holidays, I say I'm very inspired by how my own experience for Christmas was growing up. I pretty much stick with the same base and we've created family traditions. And then I have little tricks that I'll share of how I still change it up every year to, I guess, keep things interesting for me. So, but our Christmas is kind of like traditional with a twist. So we have a lot of vintage items actually from my husband's family that we'll decorate with. And then the big one that gets a lot of attention on Instagram would be our tree. And I actually really don't change our tree up much year to year. I don't know if I've even changed it at all in like the last 2 or 3 years, but essentially I kind of have a formula I use. We do ribbon on it. And then I buy picks, or I purchased in the past picks. So mine has magnolia and like little pearl branches coming out of it, which probably sounds wild when I'm like saying it. So you have to go look.
Look at it.
Yeah.
But so if you're going to put picks or branches in your tree, you're going to need a lot of them. It kind of depends on what size tree you have, but I would recommend at least 10 with a small tree, and then you're getting into like 20 or more. And you can kind of collect those over time. So depending on where you're sourcing it from, I actually get a lot of my stuff from Michael's. And then local places, I've gotten a lot of stuff from McNeil and Friends. My little pearl picks I use, they're from there. So if anybody wants to run and buy, I think they have a different version this year, but they're very similar to what I have in my own tree. And then we layer kind of the ornaments that would be like the traditional balls, the big ones. My trick there would be to always buy at least 6. So if you're doing an ornament that's a set, buy 6 of them and then spread them out throughout the tree. And I've collected those over time. Another good place to get those is Home Goods. And then after that, we also have made our own popcorn strings and
love that.
Yeah, and orange garland too. So that's a craft that I did with my kids. And I don't know if a lot of people know this. You can use those for quite a few years.
Really? I suppose it probably doesn't like decompose very quickly.
No, we just store them in Ziploc bags. And then when I made them, they're not like, I did not super long lengths. Yeah. So I have quite a few of them. And then, we store them in Ziploc bags. But the big thing about our tree then is that I have ornaments that I collected as a kid and that my husband also collected as a kid. So both of us had kind of the tradition where everybody in the family got an ornament every year that was reflective of them. And that's something we do with our children and with ourselves. So every year we pick out you know, a lot of times they're pretty quirky ornaments. And for my kids, it's things like Minnie Mouse and, you know, whatever princess they like that year. My son's favorite ornament is like this little tree that plays a Beatles song that we got for him when he was 2, because we put him to sleep every night by playing the Beatles.
That is sweet.
Yeah, we don't do that. He doesn't do that anymore. He's not like a 5-year-old Beatles fanatic, but he loves that ornament. So everything kind of has a little bit of a story behind it from the year. And then those are layered last on the tree and then kind of give it that sentimental. So it's a very collected tree. There's a lot on it. There's a lot going on, but I also other than the ornaments my kids are picking out, it does have like a general color palette to it too.
I love that ornament idea. I have a really good friend that her mom gets her an ornament every year. Like you said, so she just got married. So it was about that. And then one was when she had graduated college. And I'm like, that's such a great idea.
Yeah. Because then you think about it as you're putting it up. And, and I think it's interesting. I don't know if this is just maybe my social media algorithm, but I've seen a lot of trees kind of going back to that more traditional, like Christmas story type feel, as opposed to like my tree is like white glam, like, you know, it looks very like thought out. And I'm kind of like, gosh, I really love like the popcorn string and like those things that feel nostalgic. I love to see that coming back.
I think that's just reflective of Christmas and design in general. I think we are kind of going more back to that warm, cozy, traditional feeling, just with like everything with after COVID and everything. Now people's homes are more of a hub than maybe they were in the past. And people are kind of refocusing on creating that like warm, safe haven, if you will, within their home. So it's still about the aesthetics, but it's also a little bit more maybe about that feeling that our decor or Christmas decor give us and stuff too. But yeah, the other tip I would have, the other thing I do is I do fresh greenery, and then I mix in, I mix fresh greenery and like some fake greenery. So fresh greenery will dry. I try and pick stuff that will dry beautifully in place. But then this year, for instance, we're traveling for Christmas. But if I was going to be here for the whole season, I might start filling it with fake stuff to keep it looking fresh.
Got it.
Or vice versa. If I have fake garland, I'll buy a bundle, you know, at Costco or wherever of eucalyptus or something green and throw that in the fake garland. So I do a lot of mixing of that.
That is such a, and I bet it just smells amazing.
It does. Yeah. And then the other thing is that garland is really like good fake garland is really expensive. And not that like fresh garland doesn't add up every year, but I do like to tweak my designs a little bit. And so the tree is pretty much the same every year. And then like the stuff, we have a Christmas village, my kids like, you know, we have that. So a lot of the stuff you actually set out and place on the table is always the same. So then I can change up my theme, if you will, every year by using a different color ribbon and using different greenery. And I'm not constantly buying, you know, hundreds of dollars of a fake greenery just because I changed what like style I wanted to do that Christmas.
Yeah.
Gosh, that's such a good idea. So is your tree actually, is it real then, or is it?
Our tree is not. So our tree is, that one is Balsam Hill. I'm not sponsored by them, but they're great. Love them. But no, I'm not. No, I'm not ready for the pine needle drop quite like that.
That's what Paige does. She's a real tree owner.
It smells so good, but you're right. I mean, it is a little bit of a mess. And even last year we had our first real one and I was vacuuming up needles for months, but it's worth it.
My stairway is like that right now though, because I did do like a pie and garland this year. But I mean, it doesn't bother me. But yes, I mean, if you're gonna do anything real, you got to be honest with yourself and handle that.
Totally, I love it.
Well, and also too, I was creeping on your blog and I really loved your Christmas gift ideas. Like the list. So I'd love if you could share with us like your top 5 gift ideas for the homebody. So someone that's a homebody and then maybe someone that loves decor.
Yeah. So the number one gift I would recommend in general is just a good candle.
Mhm.
We're talking about making things smell and the senses. You can personalize candles if you kind of know somebody, like what kind of scents or vibes they would like. And so then, but not just the candle, then I like to package it with a really nice like matchbox set or a candle trim wicker. Like you can make, it's a great gift because you can gift it to family, but you also can do it for a gift exchange. It's simple. So I would say for gifts in general, I try and keep it simple when it's coming towards to like home decor or something geared towards somebody who is a homebody, because most people appreciate those type of things, where if you're getting too out there with the decor, or like embracing this certain type of decor style, people might be like, oh, well, that's not really, this is pretty, but it's not really me.
Yeah.
So I would say for the homebody, it would be a candle, a really good blanket that feels cozy, but then also looks great, like draped over the sofa. Blanket is not on my gift guide this year. I think I have a blanket from Co on my gift guide that's paired with a candle, which is a great gift, but I think it's actually in my last year's gift guide would be gosh, what are they called? Love Your Melon. They make the hats.
They make
an amazing blanket.
Wow.
It is my favorite blanket. It is just like the hats. It's knitted. I have the gray one. They have like a white one. I highly recommend them. They're great. And then third one for a homebody would probably be Birdie's slippers for a girl. They're just really, I have them myself and I love them. They're super cozy, but then they kind of feel like a little glam at the same time.
Yeah.
And who couldn't use slippers around their house, you
Right.
know? And then I would say probably either a coffee or tea mug. And then probably just something like a cozy sweater or even a sweatshirt. So all of those are pretty simple. You can do them in different styles, but I usually would gift all of those in like a more neutral style, because I think it translates well for everybody. And then for the home decor obsessed, I would still say number one would be a candle. Then I'd probably just pick really cool, like matchbox. I think I have a bunch of matches on the gift guide that come in different colors, and then you can put them like in a glass little container and then package that with a candle. And it's kind of like those simple moments, but then you're almost up leveling it by creating like this little moment. And they look really great in a box too when you gift it to people. And it's easy for the people to style when you gift something like that. Like everybody has a spot that they could put a candle and different stuff like that. And so the next one I would say would be a coffee table book, which is kind of the same thing. You can find a really good one that is in the interest of the person that you're gifting it to. For instance, last year I gave my brother like a sports one that had newspaper clippings from the Minnesota Twins, but it still like looks beautiful on a table. But if it's somebody who loves home decor, you could just get a design book that has the beautiful inspiration and the style that, you know, they like. Or yeah, so Barnes and Noble is a great place to get coffee table books. Amazon, it's a great coffee table books. I pretty much use them in any room to style the space. And then it's nice because you can they're functional and they make for a great styling moment. And then another gift, if it's somebody that, say it's your mother or somebody that you kind of want to go the little bit extra mile for, I would say a flower subscription would be a great gift.
Love this idea.
What is this?
Yeah, like a online flower subscription. So where you can, there's quite a few different places you can find online. I have one linked in my gift guide actually, but there's other ones too. And so you can they'll organize it so that you could pick where maybe flowers get sent every season. So fall, summer, spring, fall, or you can do it where they get flowers every month. I think you can even do like weekly, and then you set the amount of time. So yeah, you're gifting them like a gift that keeps on giving essentially. And then you can kind of decide for how long it's going to keep giving. But I think like, I love decorating my house with flowers. I planted a lot of flowers in my yard in mind of like what I wanted to bring into my house. But also we live in North Dakota, so there's only so much time I can bring in those flowers. And so that's something like if I want to treat myself, I'll just order bulk flowers online and then style them throughout the house. So I think if it's somebody who really loves home decor, they probably buy the home decor that they want, but they're probably not going out there and buying fresh flowers, but it just really like elevates your space and kind of like is just fun to come home to. And so I really love the idea of gifting the flower subscriptions. And then I think that was 3. Another one would just be coasters, like a very simple coaster. Another thing, kind of like the candle, everybody has a place for it. You know, you can set it on a table. It's pretty, it's functional. It's not too hard to integrate into your own style. And then the same type of thing would be like a catch-all tray or like a small bowl.
Love.
That's cute. The flower subscription, I'm obsessed with.
I can't get over that.
Idea.
That's such a good idea. We're going to send everybody to your link. So your gift guide. I can't wait to go.
I don't even know if that one's an affiliate link, but
regardless, we're going to send
regardless.
It's fine.
Regardless, I highly recommend it.
Oh, that's so cool. And well, aside from the holidays and Christmas and all the things coming up, the new year is coming up. And so you've already shared a little bit about some new things coming up for you. What can we expect to see from you in 2023?
Yeah, so 2023, you'll see more of Pretty Domesticated being a design firm, probably. I am launching virtual design in 2023. So you'll be able to hire me and some of my team to help you with virtual design. So the full service design is it's meant to be full service. So for taking on full service clients, it usually would be like a ground up build or a remodel or a whole like house room refresh. But if you just have one space that you're looking to refresh and you've seen my Instagram and you like that, then virtual design is a great option. So that's something I really wanted to offer. I've over time kind of built this community on Instagram, but not everybody it's not always the right fit to do full service. And so I was kind of thinking, how can we make it so that I can still meet that need? So virtual design will be launching in 2023. I will be more publicly offering full service design. And then also I will be available for either 1-day consults or just a 1-hour consult too. So more services in the design business, a little less of my own house, and hopefully a little more of other people's.
Love
That's
it.
so exciting.
Got to
That's
take
so
on the
cool.
challenge and share your incredible eye for design with everyone around us.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, and also hopefully my cabin will someday be done. Probably not in 2023.
It's all you have to have something to do.
Right. Yeah. Where's your cabin? Which lake are you guys on?
It's near Alexandria.
Cool.
And it's a work in progress. I actually have construction going on here and there. So yeah.
You're busy. Million things going on. But that's super exciting. I love it.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm dying to know what your favorite room to remodel is in someone's house, or maybe in your own house even.
Nothing is my favorite remodel in my own house anymore. Just kidding.
I'm so over it.
I have 3 kids. Just kidding. No, my favorite to remodel would probably be a kitchen. It's just so fun. There's so much to it. Like you can do such cool design in kitchens, whether it's small or big, whatever. And then probably after that, a bedroom. And not necessarily just like an adult bedroom. Like I love doing kids' rooms. My kids' rooms are a little I guess my third one, we haven't really done her big girl room yet. So that will come with time here too, maybe in 2023, if people can look out for that. But she wants an all pink room.
Oh,
I love to do bedrooms too, and especially kids' rooms, because you can bring that personality that in the main areas where you have like guests coming, I usually recommend a more neutral thing. But in places like your bedroom, you can really let your personality shine.
yeah, totally.
Whether you're a kid or an adult. So that's always fun.
Well, you can come help me with my bedroom because
literally, I need all the help
help
that I can get.
Yeah.
Well, I'm redoing my bedroom right now, as we discussed. So.
Yeah, I can't wait to see like the unveiling of what you end up doing.
The room used to be painted a brown color, which ironically, like a lot of things will say that brown is trending now, but I actually painted it white. I like going in the opposite direction, but and we added some skylights, but it kind of went for like a more Parisian European meets maybe I don't know, meets clean lines type of looks.
That's literally all I want. I love that to a T. Oh my gosh. I can't wait to see. And I know all of our listeners are going to be dying to see all of this. So plug away. Tell us where everyone can find you, how they can connect.
You can find me on my website at www.prettydomesticated.com. And then I'm also on social media, Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest, just at Pretty Domesticated. And then if you want to contact me directly, you can email me at hello@prettydomesticated.com.
Perfect.
Love
all the things. So we'll link everything, so it's super easy for people to find you.
Thank you guys. It's been great.
Yes,
thank you
fun. So much. I can't wait to continue to follow along and see all the cool design ideas. I need truly all the help that I can get. So
we can talk offline.
Yeah, we'll talk.
When I came across your profile, I immediately sent it to Saray. I'm like, oh my gosh, we need to meet this girl. I think I already said this, but you literally, I'm obsessed with everything that you do. So
thank you. That means a lot, because it's always, I do it and then I don't really know, like, I love it, but how it's going to be received. So I always appreciate hearing that. And I thank you so much for inviting me on. It's been really fun.
Yes, keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, it's
you're killing
back at you, right?
Well, have a great rest of your night.
Thanks. Bye.